In the last video, we talked about why every ETF has a job, but that raises an even bigger question. How do you know what jobs your portfolio actually needs? Because if you don't answer that first, you'll spend years buying great ETFs that don't move you any closer to your retirement goals. Today, I'm going to show you the exact 5 roles I believe almost every retirement portfolio should consider before buying a single investment, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Simply Money. I appreciate you joining us today. When most investors start building a portfolio, they start with ticker symbols: SCHD, VOO, JEPQ, QQQI. I don't. I start with a blank sheet of paper. Before I ever look at an ETF, I ask, what jobs need filled? Once I know the jobs, finding the right ETF becomes much easier. The first thing I want to do is ask, what is this portfolio trying to accomplish? I get questions on the channel all the time. What ETF should I buy? Should I buy CHPY? Should I buy SCHD? But those aren't the right questions to start with. The first question you should ask is, what is this portfolio trying to accomplish? Are you trying to retire in 20 years? Are you trying to replace your income in 5 years? Maybe you're trying to leave wealth to your family or supplement Social Security. Because purpose determines the job. And that brings us to the 5 departments every retirement team needs. Now that we know a retirement portfolio is really a team, the next question becomes, what jobs actually need to be filled? Not every portfolio will look exactly the same, but I believe there are 5 core departments that almost every successful retirement team should consider. Department 1, Foundation Builders. The mission is to build long-term wealth and provide the stability every portfolio needs. This department is your foundation. These investments aren't trying to produce the highest income today. Their job is to grow your wealth over decades, help combat inflation, and give the rest of your portfolio something solid to stand on. Without a strong foundation, the rest of the team becomes much harder to sustain. The needs of this department are long-term appreciation, broad diversification, inflation protection, and reliable growth. Think of these as the offensive line. They may not score the points, but without them, the rest of the team struggles. Department 2 is Future Growth. The mission of this department is to invest in tomorrow's opportunities. This department accepts a little more volatility in exchange for greater long-term upside. It's where innovation lives: artificial intelligence, semiconductors. These aren't necessarily designed to fund today's retirement paycheck. They're here to help create tomorrow's wealth. The needs in this department are innovation, high growth potential, long investment horizon, and smaller strategic allocation. Department 3 is the Dividend Growth department. This mission is to increase your income over time. This is one of my favorite departments because it's focused on something retirees often overlook: future income. It's not just about what the portfolio pays today. It's about building investments that have a history of raising their dividends year after year, helping your retirement income keep pace with inflation. This department needs dividend increases, income growth, quality businesses, and long-term compounding. Department 4 belongs to Growth and Income. The mission here is to balance current income with future growth. This department bridges the gap between pure growth and pure income. These investments are designed to generate attractive cash flow while still allowing part of your investment to continue growing over time. They're often a great fit for investors transitioning toward retirement. The needs in this department are higher income, some capital appreciation, balanced risk, and flexible cash flow. And that brings us to department number 5, Retirement Paycheck. The mission is pay the bills. This department has one very clear responsibility: create dependable cash flow that can support your retirement lifestyle. These investments aren't trying to be the fastest growers. They're here to do the job of replacing a paycheck. The needs in this department are consistent distributions, reliable monthly cash flow, retirement income, and spending support. So now we have the departments, but what does that actually look like inside a real portfolio? Let me show you mine. Here's a little bit of my retirement team. The foundation builders, we have FXAIX and SCHG. These aren't here because I think they're the best ETFs. They're here because every retirement team needs someone responsible for building long-term wealth. Their job isn't to generate my retirement paycheck today. Their job is to strengthen the portfolio for the next 10, 20, and 30 years. My future growth department, I have SOXX and WGTM. This department is intentionally smaller. Innovation brings incredible opportunity, but it also brings more volatility. I don't need this department to carry the entire team. I just need it contributing to tomorrow's growth. And my favorite department, the Dividend Growth. In there I have SCHD. This is probably the ETF people ask me about the most. But SCHD isn't in my portfolio because it's SCHD. It's here because I need someone focused on growing my future income. If another ETF could do that job better over time, I'd have no problem making a substitution. I'm loyal to the job, not the ticker. And then the growth and income department, we have CHPY, GOOW, AMDW, and EGGY. This department is one of the hardest to build well. I want meaningful income today, but I don't want to completely sacrifice tomorrow's growth. These ETFs help me strike that balance. They're not trying to replace my paycheck by themselves. They're helping bridge the gap between growth and income. And this department is where I use my drip score sheet a lot because I'm not just taking the income, I'm using it to reinvest and build that position, as well as in the future, I plan on using part of that to replace my income and part of it to continue to offset any NAV decay or any downturns that these departments may face. And then the final department, the retirement paycheck. We have QQQI, SPYI, IWMI, and JEPQ. When I retire, this department is expected to do the heavy lifting. These ETFs exist for one primary reason: to generate dependable cash flow that helps replace a traditional paycheck. That's their job. Everything else in the portfolio supports them. So that brings us to the validation of the team. I want to show you how I do this. Here's the Simply Money Portfolio Planner. If you've never seen this, they're available down at Buy Me a Coffee in the link below. All our spreadsheets are available there. This one here is great for planning and building your team. What I can do here is I have some of my tickers. I have the different departments represented over here. And then I have the allocation that I want going into each of those. In this one, I have a conservative model, which averages about 6.6% yield. Then I have a moderate and an aggressive. I put the portfolio value, and I'm not accumulating for any more years. I'm just going to say, what if I start using it today, or I just don't use it, I just let it ride, and then I start using it. I'm not adding anything to it. Come over to the withdrawal rules. I have set up at $4,000 a month and 3 years, so 36 months. I'm going to start taking out that money. I know I skipped over this deposit rules because I'm not doing any. I have these set at 0. So the withdrawal rules, I only have one. I'm going to take $4,000 out a month, and you can change where you want those to come from. I just threw in some allocations here. This isn't actually how I would do it. I would be taking more out of QQQI, SPYI, IWMI, just showing you for an example here in this. You come to the forecast tab. You can hit the model. We're looking at the conservative model first. Then you come over to the Forecast Pro, and it shows you all the wonderful data. So it shows you how much you have in each account to begin with, and then it shows you how that's accumulating over the years. Right here we have redirect the income. If I wanted to take the income, say, from CHPY and GOOW and put that into SCHG, I could turn this on. I could redirect that income to whatever percent I want in the fund I want it to go in. But I'm not doing any redirects. I'm just showing this as an example. Again, a lot of different things this portfolio planner can do. So here it shows you your portfolio total year over year. Shows you the income generated. Remember, we're not taking any income, so income paid is 0, and income reinvested is the full amount up until year 3. Here you can see we start taking out $4,000 a month, and it shows you what amount is being paid, so you get some more reinvested. We could go back to the withdrawal rules. We could change that. Say I want $6,000 a month. Say I looked at that. I feel really confident with that. Plug that in. Start taking $6,000 a month. I'm still doing really well. Now, this is just the portfolio planner, and this is how I pick my team. And I can change my team. Maybe I'm 20 years from retirement, and I want a little bit more aggressive with the growth. I can put that up higher. Or maybe I'm about to retire, and I want a little bit more in the income. So I can play with this depending on how I want to build my team, how much I want to allocate to each of the departments. And that's what allows me to do that. You could just put in one ticker from each of the 5 departments and then go that way, and then pick individual ETFs after that if you wanted to do it that way. So a lot of different things you can do with this spreadsheet. Once I've identified the jobs, I can begin experimenting with different team combinations. What happens if I increase growth? What happens if I need more income? This is where I stop guessing and start testing. Now we know the jobs, but that still leaves one important question. If I'm hiring for my retirement paycheck, how do I know which ETF deserves that role? That's exactly what we'll tackle in the next episode. Don't start with ticker symbols, start with purpose. Because once you know what jobs need filled, the right investments become much easier to find. Remember, every ETF has a job, every job has a purpose. We'll see you next time on Simply Money.